It's loud. Keys.
It's a suction cup from a computer repair kit.
Oh. Now that sound makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes more sense than keyboard keys, because if you had your keyboard keys sounding like that, that's pretty impressive.
I would be happy.
Back or something.
Be a little different than a buckling spring keyboard.
Maybe I'll put my headphones on. Kind of important.
Oh yeah, turn the speakers off and
turn off the speakers, turn down the headphones.
Turn down.
Yeah. Turn down the lights. We're about to podcast.
Real smooth.
Yeah. From Pickering, Ontario.
Instead of our normal like funky music, I'll play some like smooth jazz.
Yeah, smooth jazz in the background. Yeah. Brown sugar.
Oh.
Ooh.
That's too good. That's too good. Alrighty. Let's start.
All right,
We'll be talking all night.
Join us.
I gotta remember to hit record. You guys.
Oh shit! I gotta open up. Yeah, I gotta open that recording program.
Record. Yeah.
Look who's recording.
Record in mono.
Okay.
Blasphemy.
I'm recording in surround sound 4K.
He does. I get 5 channels from stereo from him. Like, well, I guess I got to mix these down to 1 again. I don't know why I need all 5 channels, but I got. All right, that's fine.
Recording now.
All right, here we go. This is the Home Tech Podcast for Friday, September 16th from Sarasota, Florida. I'm Seth Johnson.
From Powell, Ohio, I'm TJ Huddleston.
And from Pickering, Ontario, I'm Gavin Campbell.
And welcome to the Home Tech Podcast, a podcast all about all aspects of home technology, home automation, and swabba-doo-boo-doo-boo-doo, Sonos Day to you. How's it going, guys? Have you been able to make any heads or tails out of the swabba-doo-doo-boo-doo-boo-doo stuff that Sonos has been posting? Like, I don't get it.
It's a hint for their sub mini, right?
They're just mashing. They've got a cat walking on the keyboard. I'm convinced of it.
Womp, womp, womp.
It doesn't say that.
Space.
They're about to either release something or they're just trolling everybody at this point. There was somebody posted a Reddit thread, and they said, notice that as they post every day, they have less words. So the announcement's coming this Friday. So,
but then somebody posted below that and said your days are off because, like, if you count the days, it was like 3 days ago 8 words, 2 days ago 0 words. 6 words, 21 hours ago, 3 minutes, 5 words. So it's like,
well, it already launched, so we just didn't know.
We just missed it. Whoops.
I think we're just overthinking this a bit too much. Someone's cat walked across the keyboard and accidentally tweeted.
This has got to be what happened. Like they used TweetDeck or something, and it just like saved it, and they were just like, every day for the next couple of weeks, we'll be getting all these weird messages from Sonos.
Yeah, I mean, possibly. Some of the words are the same though, so they're using similar words, so it's not completely random. Somebody at least copy and pasted something.
Well, after the first one, they're probably like, "Let's just roll with this. Look at the response we got."
Right, they'll just make it seem like it's normal then.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, it's just a sale on the Sonos boost.
But it's not in stock.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Well, we'll have to see by the time this podcast supposedly airs, which all depends on when Seth gets to edit it. But yeah, that we may know what the swabba-doo-boo-boo-boo-boo-boo-bahoo sobobo boo-o-boo-ab hubba-hubba means. I don't.
That sounds like a subwoofer to me. I mean, even a small one at that. So I'm going for it.
Yeah, what I'll do is pitch down my voice so it sounds like a sub and not.
Take my money now.
Yeah, well, I gotta go back. I'm gonna have to go back and figure out what our dollars were. I know we announced it on the show a couple of times, so we'll have to go back and take a look at what our bets were on that. And I don't even remember what we betted, like if we actually bet something. But oh well. Anyway, speaking of just throwing money away, how'd the Apple event go for you guys?
I threw away less money than I was really expecting to throw away, to be honest. Like what they announced. They announced a new phone, new watch, new AirPods.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah, I couldn't justify a new phone. I have the 12 Pro Max. It's new enough. I couldn't justify a new watch because I'm not climbing mountains or diving 200 feet deep or running for 24 hours.
But
So
aren't you afraid of like dying in a car crash or dying in an airplane crash or dying on the side of a mountain somewhere? Like, don't you have mountains in Ontario?
not really, do we?
I mean,
Kind of up
you
north is
might, and if
higher.
you don't have a watch, you're not going to be rescued with a
You get lost in
satellite.
the snow on your way to Tim Hortons. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I'm good. There's always a Tim Hortons walking distance. No matter where you are, there's a walking distance Tim Hortons. So I'll never get lost. There's always going to be somewhere, And here in Canada, we have nice people. They'll stop and help you. You don't need a watch. Someone will drive by and see you all buried at the side, and they'll roll you over and light a fire and keep you warm.
That's
Yeah.
nice.
They are nice. A moose will come by. You'll have food.
That's not food, Gavin. This is funny. It reminds me of a story. I was in a Wawa the other day, which is kind of like an East Coast coming down. Like, I guess it's a Tim Hortons. Essentially,
It's a gas station.
It's a gas station, but they have food inside there. It's got like a kitchen or something. But it's a gas station, and they have a coffee thing in there. And there was this guy in there. Like, I saw him get out of the car. He was like working for this irrigation company. And I saw him get out of the truck and walk in. And he had one arm, and he was having, struggling getting coffee put together. And so, like, there were a couple of us kind of in the area, and we like helped him get stuff together. He's like, an alligator ate my arm, and like walked off. And like, oh, that's kind of a weird thing to say, but that's probably what I would say if I had one arm. Like I would just tell everybody, well, an alligator ate it. And he said something the same thing, like going out. He said this kind of the same thing, going out to the cashier, like an alligator ate it. I'm like, man, this guy's got a stick. But no, I was flipping through the news on Twitter, and I ran across like I recognized this guy sitting there. I guess he got like lost out in the woods, and after work, however, as you do, I guess in Florida, you just wander out into the woods and get lost. And he ended up on the other side of a lake from where his car was. You could see it. So what do you do in Florida? You swim naturally. You swim across the lake. Immediately was eaten by an alligator, and then like struggled in the woods for 3 days, I guess, before somebody found him with half his arm left. But he could have used one of these watches and been saved. He could have been like, I'm lost. And
At
And if not, they would have
found
been able
the
to.
alligator that had the
well,
watch.
before he tried to swim, he could have probably used the watch to
And then they would have been
satellite
able to track the alligator down because it would have been in his belly.
Well, that's called Peter Pan, I think is what you're thinking of. But the thing is like, it was really weird. It was surreal. Like, I met this guy in a gas station, and there he's right there on the news. But yeah, I don't know. I ended up getting, I'm on the little iPhone upgrade plan thing that they have. So I ended up getting the new 13. I like the new camera. I'm really in it for the cameras. They have really good cameras on their phones. So even the 12 that you guys were talking about, you have, like, that's a great camera. And you're probably going to love the 13 or the 14 now, I guess, even more, because the 13 was a big upgrade from the 12. So I don't think there's much of an upgrade on the cameras this time.
Well, my 12 still plays this podcast pretty well, so I don't
Yeah.
need to upgrade at all. Like,
well, people are complaining about, like, but what much more can you do with a phone? Like, they're like, well, if you get in a car accident, we can detect if your car hits what are they, like 270 G's or something like that. It's like, don't people, like, your body cannot survive like 90 G's, like you're long gone after that point.
So, yeah, you're dying from your brain hitting your skull, I think, at that point, or something like that, right?
Yeah, 270 won't matter. Like, that's not a number that's attainable that realistically we're going to be talking about getting to. So
no matter where I am, I get in a car crash. There's so many people around. It's going to be on social media, full video, everything anyway. So somebody's going to find out. I don't need my watch to call anybody.
Exactly. Well, it was an interesting, like, stick that they were trying to do, right? With the like, oh, if you're lost in the woods and there's only alligator infested lakes around, like, you'll have this watch, it'll save your life or your arm or whatever. And the videos they had were just like crazy, over the top, like,
yes,
car crashes, planes. Like, I mean, it's a good sales point that you can say, hey, not only is this, watch covering your fitness or whatever, but it'll also call the police if you're in a car accident. It's kind of
Well,
wild.
I think that's kind of like one of the selling points of having an Apple Watch as well, because you never hear about any of the other watch manufacturers doing this, especially on the Android front. There's other watches out that do similar stuff. You could text with them or, use it for GPS and stuff like that. But I
Right.
think Apple's really positioned themselves as the watch where you buy it and it kind of does everything you want it to do. And if you want to leave your phone behind, you can get a cellular option. You can do texting on it and everything. Or if you're going to go out for several days at a time, you can have a watch that does that as well. So I
Yeah.
think they're very precise on what they're doing with it. And it seems to be working for them. A lot of people I know wear an Apple Watch every single day. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, if it's making you money and they sell them. I see them out everywhere. It's rare
pretty
that
much
I
everyone
see.
I see now has an Apple Watch.
Yeah.
I saw somebody the other day and they had like what do they have, like a Hello Kitty background? And I'm like, how did they get that? And I was like, oh, it's not an Apple Watch. Like it's probably some kind of Android watch or something like that. So
Oh, you can put photos on your Apple Watch,
but it was like the hands and everything. Like it was like done up, as like
Oh, okay.
as an official whatever it was. Like it was some cartoon thing, and I was like, oh, that'd be really cool if you could do that. But no, it was not an Apple Watch.
That's right.
So-
Seth was making fun of me for my my Apple Watch upgrade. I got my first Apple Watch. A friend of mine gave me an Apple Watch Series 3. Funnily enough, they upgraded their watch. It works all right. Everybody's saying it's like a slow Apple Watch and it's not that good and stuff, but it does its job for right now.
I think you got. I didn't make fun of it. I think you just paid too much for it.
Well, I paid I paid a 6-pack of beer for it, so
I stand by my point.
Wasn't out much. But if I like it, I guess I'll go with a newer one. I was looking at the SE with cellular, and I think that would be a nice option for. I think it's like $420 or something for the cellular option, or $320 if you wanted just the regular GPS. So not that much money.
No, and those are actually really nice. Like my wife actually she upgraded her Series 3 to the previous SE. It was just actually a couple of months ago. And it was kind of like, she's kind of like you, like who cares? Like it doesn't, it's not, she doesn't use it every day, that kind of thing. But it was a great price for the watch then, and it actually works really well. It works as well as mine does. I have like a Series 6, I think is what we figured out it was. But it's a nice watch. Like looks nice, works nicely, and it's a lot faster than the 3 that you'll be messing with. But that one's a oldie.
Yeah, I plan on. I've been looking for a Apple Watch 7, just on deals and see what I can get on there. They've come down to like $400 to $500 for the cellular option, so they're dropping pretty quickly.
Yep, as they do.
One of the features I like using on my watch now, I never thought I would, but answering calls on it and just talking to somebody, it works really well. The mics are great, and I like the fact that you can swim in the watch and everything. It's fully waterproof. I don't have to worry about that.
Yep,
it's worth it.
You guys know that you can use your remote, like for Apple TV? Oh, you probably don't use Apple TV.
Yeah.
So, it has a little remote app on there, and you can actually just like quickly. I do this with my daughters. Like, hey, stop watching TV, and she's like ignoring me, and then I'll just reach over to my watch and go boop 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 boop, and it'll stop, and she'll just look at me like, how did you do that? I have the remote. And,
well,
I'm magic.
So. because I'm fancy over here, I can actually control my van, so I can either start it, lock it, or unlock it from my watch as well. So it's pretty nice to just be leaving the store or going like leaving somebody's house, and I just go ahead and start van, and by the time I get there, it's already started.
There you go. Well, the magic of having a little wrist computer.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, guys. Enough of Apple talk, because there's probably plenty of podcasts out there that have been.
Nobody cares about them anymore.
Nobody cares about Apple anymore.
Exactly.
What do you say we jump into some actual home tech headlines?
Let's do it.
All right. Well, Comcast, and this is a big. I've got USA written all over this thing. Look at that. That's a new tag that we've got in our upgraded show notes. This could beat with a Canada tag. But Comcast plans on bringing multi-gig internet speeds to 34 cities across the U.S. by the end of the year. And it'll expand its reach to more than 50 million households by the end of 2025. According to the press release, the company has already started rolling out, and I get this, it's not 6 or 8, but it's 2 gig speeds.
Woohoo.
Yeah, over its broadband network in Colorado Springs, Colorado, Augusta, Georgia, Panama City Beach, Florida, and Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Of course, it's the home of Comcast. It's like, why wouldn't they start there? Customers in these cities will also get to take advantage of the upload speeds that Comcast says are 5 to 10 times faster than what it currently offers, which is nice, I guess. Upload speeds appear to top out at 200 megabits per second, and even with the new gigabit times 2 plan, but Comcast intends to change that, and it says that launching this multi-gig symmetrical speeds sometime next year, which will enable multi-gig upload speeds. So that'll be nice. Looking forward to not getting this. It's probably going to be a very expensive upgrade.
They didn't mention anything about the caps though, or is it gonna be unlimited?
You're gonna go over your data cap so quick, Seth.
Exactly.
You won't even have a chance.
I think at some point they're like, yeah, we know we're not gonna have we're not gonna have a cap on this. I don't think they have a cap on this one.
One bad update or one straight of ice, and you're just done for.
I was done for before, but I don't know. I got those removed, so those have all gone, and I'm not paying like the gig. I think gig speed is like $200 a month, or maybe $300 a month.
Wow,
it's so crazy they're able to charge that too, because like
Yeah.
AT&T fiber here for a gig is like $55 to $80 a month, and I think you can get Spectrum for like 100 to 150. So it's crazy that Comcast is able to charge that much for basic service at this point.
Well, I mean, you say basic, they say super advanced. Only data centers need this fast speed because we're charging. I want to say it's like $300. I was going to look it up, but I forget what it's called.
What a ripoff. They're also the worst ISP I've ever dealt with in my life. I had a job down in Florida where they were supposed to run new lines for, and they would show up on several appointments and then cancel. And then we would have to call Comcast back, and they'd be like, actually, there's no record of the installation. When was it supposed to be? And that happened like 4 or 5 times. So ever since that moment, they've always been the worst ISP.
Yeah, I'm trying to see how much it will cost on. Man, everywhere is not working here. But if I go to Xfinity, it wants me to log in and change my plan. So just trying to figure out how to do that. Maybe it's not as much as I thought it was, but I'm pretty sure for me, last I checked, it was like $300 for a gigabit, and then
$300 a month. And if you cancel it, they like come and take your kidney
in the middle of the night, just leave you in the bathtub of ice. Yeah. Old Comcast. All right, we'll have to look that up later and follow up on it. But I'm happy where I am. It's not gigabit. I think it's like 800, and it's still like $100 a month, something like that. Maybe a little bit more.
And realistically, like unless you're doing something crazy with it, that's plenty fast. I mean, I have gigabit and I don't even touch it most of the time. Like I should really just downgrade, but I don't want to call Spectrum and do it. So.
Yeah. If you need some help on getting the most out of your gig, let me know.
Yeah, I'm just out of storage space at this point. So it's a big like investment. Maybe if I downgrade the internet for like 18 months, I can buy new hard drives and then we can go back.
Is it $300, Seth?
It's ridiculous. No, I'm like you when I want to change like the plan, it's like I can find it, but now it's not letting me. I don't know where it is. Like I clicked on services and now here it is, change plan. This is what people tune in for.
And I hate that they like never just like tell you what it is on the website, right?
No, you have to go. Since I'm a customer, I don't get any of the
$50 a month.
Yeah, I did see a $50 a month promo, so I don't know if that is active, and if it's currently active. But I think you have to have like it
says unlimited.
Their little box, their little Wi-Fi box thing that they have.
And you get a free streaming TV box. Who doesn't want that?
Yeah.
Up to 1,200 gigabits for $80 a month with 24-month contract. That's another thing I didn't really like about Comcast. They make you do a contract.
Finally here with the offers that they're going to offer me. It's loading. Please wait. I don't know why this takes so long to think about.
How much money can we get from you?
All right. So gigabit is actually only $10 more a month than I'm paying now. So I guess I was mistaken.
Oh my gosh, 6,000 megabits per second for $299 a month.
Do it. Let's get it.
Yeah, they
What do you
don't have
think about-
anything extra on here for me though.
Do you think they have like a point to point that'll go that far, Gavin?
I don't know. Buy it. Let's see. Just click order now. There's a button that says order now. Click it. Go for it.
Oh shoot, yeah, you just bring me a phone too. Well, I do want phone service as well.
Interesting. Well, I will figure it out later, but it doesn't seem
costs
like
money.
it's going to be like $10 more. But they don't tell you $10 more is actually going to be like $50 more by the time they add on taxes and fees.
And then after 4 months, the price goes up 5% for every gigabit you use.
Exactly. So
Gigabyte.
I'm just going to close these tabs and pretend I never looked at this and get
Just
back
gonna
to
make
the
you
show.
mad.
Yep, exactly. Well, speaking of being not mad, but happy birthday, Home Assistant on August 17th, 2013. Paulus Schoutzen, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but his name's Paulus, made the first commit to Home Assistant and started a big snowball of home automation enthusiasts who were willing to contribute to the open source project. 9 years later, Home Assistant is actively used by more than 500,000 people. So that's a big deal. They had a big birthday release party thing, I guess, or release that had a bunch of stuff in it. TJ, you were looking through some of the notes, and I think TJ, you're actually one of the 500,000 people using this thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So I switched over this past weekend fully. I got my Nortec Zigbee and Z-Wave USB hub. Seems to be working great. I was on Smart Things for the past, I think, like 3 or 4 or 5 months, somewhere around there. And I just kept having trouble with like devices loading. I would go to click on like a light switch and it would say, "Oh, I need to go fetch the data," or "You need to download the data." And I just didn't want to mess with it anymore. So I just switched over to Home Assistant. It's been working great. Stuff is a lot faster. I haven't got fully transitioned yet. I'm still working on some of my automations, but it's kind of nice to have everything all in one place again. I can see my cameras in the same place. I can start my van. I can lock it. I can do all my home automation stuff. So it's kind of nice just to use one interface now.
One of my coworkers posted over the weekend. Somebody had, I think it's a Reddit post. I'll have to dig through our. There's a lot of posts from today, but I'll have to dig through it and see if I can find what he posted. But it was like a what's it called? A kegerator monitor.
Yeah.
That somebody had made for HomeKit and basically made this custom. Well, I was just looking at it. It's like everything there is just so like bespoke. Like he's literally the only guy who could do all this at once. Just looking at his setup and everything, you have to have the expertise to do this. You have to have the expertise to build the little Arduino thing, and then you have to have the expertise to do the graphics on top. He had like this really cool graphic setup that had like a picture of a kegerator, and I'll have to find a picture of this. This was actually pretty cool. But it had like where the temperatures were inside, like the inside temperature, the outside temperature, the tap temperature, and how I think there's a weight thing in there that could tell how many, based on how heavy the keg was, like how many 6-packs were left or something like that. So it was a very complete installation of a kegerator monitor. But man, it was actually pretty cool. I thought it was neat, but all done with Home Assistant.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of things like this. I don't know if anything like off the shelf exists, but when I was going to this coding school down in Orlando for some meetups, they had a similar setup for a kegerator they had, and they had just a digital display board right above it, and it would tell you what beer was on tap, how much was left, and the temperature and all that good stuff. So I think theirs was custom made as well. It'd be cool though if somebody's mass producing these and selling them though.
Yeah, like some kind of kit or something that you could put together, and
I could totally see that being a thing.
Yeah, pretty cool. Oh, it was actually a TikTok link. I'll post this in our show notes so you can check it out. But it was really nice. I mean, really well done. Like you don't see it very often, but again, it was completely bespoke, and you would have to have. There's nobody mass producing it, right? So it's not something that anybody could go and buy off the shelf. You'd have to have some know-how to put it all together. So. Anyway, happy birthday to Home Assistant there.
It's definitely come a long way.
Yeah, it definitely has.
Cow.
more than it's the YAML scripts and everything, which is
Yeah, I pretty much haven't had to touch any like actual programming to set anything up so far, which has been nice. I tried it I think like 2 or 3 years ago, and you still had to go in and like edit files in order to like add your Z-Wave USB hub and all that good stuff. So far this time I've not touched any programming. I've just walked through the general interface and done everything that way. So
nice. One day I'll look into it. Right now I'm just no. Control 4 is fine.
Yeah.
It's working. if it's one of those, if it's not broken, why fix it type things. All right. Anyway, let's move on here. Got some new product from Lutron. They released two new smart switches for the Caseta line. The switches are modeled on the existing Diva platform, the paddle system, and by doing this, kind of removes the Lutron Caseta brand from being Gunther switches, right? So like you can actually have a traditional toggle switch where you push a button on top and it does something, push a button on the bottom, it does something. So $69.95 for the Diva Smart Dimmer, and then $59.95 for a Claro Smart Switch, which is wired, which is a standard wired on and off, toggle switch. Both products look like traditional paddle switches and have basically just a little LED on the side. And I think the dimmer actually has a little like slide up and down thing where you can kind of set the level that it dims at or something like that. Available today, September 12th. So as we record Monday, September 12th, you can go out and get them in a kit. Has a dimmer, Lutron Smart Hub, and the Pico remote for $119.95. So I think this is great. This is actually probably the best update that Lutron Caseta has done in a long time. These look way better than the weird button things that, basically a Pico remote switch that they had put out. And also you can use these in you don't need a weird Pico 3-way thing. Like you can just use a regular one of these on the other end, I guess, and in a 3-way. So that's good.
This is actually, I think this is big news for them, and I think it's gonna get all those people that wanted to get Lutron but couldn't get over the look of their switches.
Yep.
Now this is a more traditional one. You press up, you press down. The dimmer looks nice. I really like how they did it with the light at the side and everything like that. They added 3-way support. The dimmers, I think you don't need a neutral for, but I think you still require a neutral for the switch, or it could be the other way around. But I think this is big news for them, and it's going to probably bring in a lot more clients for them.
Yeah, and just so everybody knows, it's already on the PPPDB, so the price per button database. And it comes out, the dimmer comes out about $17.49 per button, and the switch comes out to about $19.98 per button. We don't know what the accessory switch costs yet because this just says coming soon, but not too bad on the pricing.
Very nice. Already got it up there, and we've got the Canadian prices because of the magic of APIs and whatnot. So yeah, it's a lot more Canadian dollars for those buttons, but you do get a nice looking lighting system. And I mean, Lutron's
normal.
Yeah, I mean, but this Caseta stuff is probably one of the more stable lighting control systems that's out there. They've got the Clear Connect thing, which is not Zigbee or Z-Wave. It's kind of like a super low frequency transmission thing that they've been able to do, or had a patent on, or their own licensing on for forever. So they use that for all their communications. It just kind of blasts through walls. It's very super reliable. I have a hub here and some like one of those little outdoor plug-in things, and I didn't have to think about it. It just always works. And the hub is like in my rack in this metal cage, and the thing is outside through brick walls and everything. So, yeah, it's one of those systems, like if you don't hit like the device number limits, like it's probably a pretty good system compared to the other stuff out there.
Yeah, it'll probably be one of the more expensive lighting solutions that you'll buy yourself. Anything in the Lutron lineup, but it'll absolutely be the most reliable, and you won't have any problems integrating with anything. That's one thing I like about Lutron is that you can tie it in with Google Assistant or Amazon Alexa or anybody else, and there's not going to be any issues with it.
How does it compare to like a Zigbee or a Z-Wave dimmer? Is it more like at $70? Is it more or less expensive?
Oh, definitely more expensive. I
More?
think you can get a Zigbee dimmer for the $30 to $50 range,
Yeah, 35. That's right. Okay, yeah.
depending on what you want out of it. But yeah, 30 to 50, and then Z-Wave is always on the $40 to $60 price range.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. So it's roughly double, I guess, by the time yeah. But different technology, smaller footprint, I suppose. But I have really never heard of anybody complain about the performance on these things. Like it's kind of nice to see a company out there doing this and at least striving in that direction still. So
No, the only thing that people ever complain about for the Lutron Caseta stuff is the aesthetics of it, which they've definitely fixed with this new release. So
yeah.
now I just have to find something to do with all my old Lutron Caseta stuff that nobody will ever want.
Exactly. No good. We've got some new product from Google as well. They're set to, well, maybe we'll see what they have, but Google's set to unveil a number of new products and smart home products in an upcoming event in October called the Made by Google. They have this every year, and it's always either before or after the Apple event. So it's going to be on October 6th at 10 a.m. We'll have to tune in then. And it, of course, will be headlined by their Pixel 7, their smartwatch, probably some tablets or something. Who knows? There's other stuff in there, but we do know. I think we talked about a couple of weeks ago the potential of having some new Nest devices, and particularly Nest Wi-Fi 6E device that was going to be coming out. At least somebody had saw that kind of sneaking through the FCC filing. So we might see that, and there also may be a new Chromecast model. In fact, there was a leak that had come out that said that there's going to be a new Chromecast, what was called a Chromecast HD, which is interesting because it's been a while since that product's been updated. Supposedly, this one's going to be a cheaper version of it. We don't know very much, if anything at all, about it, but I'm glad to see that they are finally updating. Like Google, like we were joking before the show, like, oh well, here's all the stuff they're going to cancel and like or not need or not use in like 3 years. But it's been a while for some of this stuff, and it's nice to see them actually go into updated. It's interesting that they're doing it now, of course, right before the Matter launch. So maybe there's going to be more news around that at this event. You know, like maybe we'll see them talking about how all these new Nest devices are Matter compatible. I don't know. What do you think, Gavin?
No, I totally agree with that. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we get the Matter talk when they announce all this stuff, right? But I don't really follow the Google stuff too much because I'm so used to them just canceling stuff on us that I'm afraid to buy something by Google now. You know, as long as they don't mess with my Gmail, I'm good. You know, like leave my Gmail alone. But I know they have a strong following, especially their phones. Their phones are some pretty good looking phones. If I was an Apple person, I'd probably grab one of the Pixels.
Yeah, and at this point, it's kind of just like, I don't know. Google does. I think Google's kind of just forgot about that they have like a home automation section of their company, and it just doesn't seem like they really care about it. They're not really updating anything. You have Amazon with their Alexa lineup coming out with all kinds of just crazy different things with Ring and Alexa and all that good stuff. They got the flying drone that flies around your house and checks on it. They have the little robot that drives around and looks around. And you have Google that's releasing like a brand new Wi-Fi system and like a new video doorbell and stuff. Like it's just there's not much innovation going on. And if you're in the market for those kind of devices, then you're obviously going to compare them. But it's nothing to really get excited about at the end of the day. Like a brand new like Nest speaker is not that exciting to me.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Like this, it seems like they're not playing catch up. They're just playing update. Like
yeah, we still do this. Just so you know.
we're still a player in this game. Yeah.
Here's a $5 cheaper Chromecast. Like, and that's something I don't get either. It's like the Chromecast is already cheap. Like, how much cheaper are you going to make it? Like $10 or $15?
Yeah, and that's like their flagship device for streaming stuff into a TV. I don't know. I think they figure that, you know, they're just have an app on a TV, you know, or it'll be a Google powered Android TV or something like that. And they don't have to worry about Chromecast. But I don't know. I don't have. I'm not like I'm kind of with you guys. I'm not too excited about it. I'm gonna watch the event, I guess. You know, I'm curious about the Pixel phones. Curious about whatever else they want to come out with, because they always talk about fun stuff. And there's been a couple of years that have gone by where they've done some, like, they've shown off some crazy technology, and then people are like, whoa, should you be doing that? Like the one where it was like it would they had a fake assistant person that would call in and schedule reservations for you, but not announce that it was like a robot.
Yeah, the
People,
software stuff is always the most important to watch because they always talk about some of the features they're either going to release or they're working on.
yeah,
I would say half of them don't ever come out, but
Yeah.
it's always just cool to see what they're working on software wise.
and their vision of what the smart connected home has been the most cohesive vision, like from a storytelling standpoint. Like, this is where we want the smart home to be. This is what we want you to be able to do with our technology, with our software and platform. I've always enjoyed watching their videos because they make the most sense, and they're not like a pipe dream. Like, they're obtainable with some of the stuff that they have. But the problem is it's Google, and like, they just kind of sit back and let stuff fester for so long. And it's like, at this point, I'm just not. If you offered me a Google, like, I've actually been offered a number of times, like having one of these Google screen things to sit in my, I'm like, I'm not interested. It's not going to happen. I don't want it. I don't really want to use it. And a bigger part of it, it's like, well, I use Google. What is it? It's changed the number. Google for your domain. I think it's Google Suite,
Google Business or something.
Google Business now. Yeah, G Suite. I don't remember what it's called now. But none of their home stuff integrates with that, because that's not your. Well, the only Gmail address I have is the personal one I have. Like, that's my junk email. Like, I will never check that. Nothing that I do goes on that is actually a permanent thing. I need the actual, like, Google for my domain stuff to integrate with my Google Home stuff, and it doesn't work because that's business. So I don't know. Like, they have a long way to go there, and they have a bunch of silos in their company that I'm gonna have to bust through to actually make it a worthwhile thing for many people, including myself. But at the same time, I'm not interested in jumping through hoops to work with that particular platform. So we'll have to see what they bring to us on October 6th, I guess. Should be a fun event. Should be fun. Maybe they'll make more reservations to restaurants with robots. All right. Moving on here. We've got a TD Go. It's a new smart lock with Thread built in. TD is a Polish company, and they unveiled a new smart lock that's called the TD Go that can use an existing cylinder and key to unlock the door. And I thought this design was pretty cool. TJ and I and Gavin all talked about this before the show. I'd never seen these before, and of course TJ has, but kind of an interesting concept where you would have, like, and I always think of these types of lock as my grandmother lock. Like, she always put these on every single exit door of the house, and like locked the doors from the inside, and then took the key out of the door and like hid it away somewhere. So whoever was breaking in couldn't break the window and run into your house. And I guess TJ, you said that's pretty common. Like, people do that.
Yeah. So this specific smart lock is for, the European crowd. And it's a European cylinder lock. So we don't really have this style in America. I'm sure you'll find it floating around, especially in like bigger places like New York City or something like that. But it's basically just like an August Go lock in the sense that you just put it over your existing lock. These locks actually have a key on the inside, so it just fits over the key, and it'll just turn the key so you can lock and unlock the door. A lot of times when people have this type of lock, they'll just keep the key in there. And then, when they go on vacation or something like that, they'll pull the key out in order to do that, in order to keep it safe. But yeah, I mean, it's a really good idea. It just fits over your existing lock. And I don't see why it wouldn't work on like a wide range of different locks, realistically. Like, if I use this with, my deadbolt in America, I don't see why I couldn't make it work with that. So
the deadbolt is a different style or type than the cylinder that's here.
Yeah, so this one, the TD Go, it just fits over the existing, the door,
Yeah.
where the key goes at. So you're not replacing any hardware or anything like that.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. No, I just thought it was a kind of a different way or different take on how I haven't seen this particularly. Like, usually you're replacing the entire door hardware or portions of it, or like you said, putting something over the top of it where it can kind of like move stuff around. But I don't know. Thought this was a pretty cool idea. Um,
Yeah.
HomeKit News has said they've been testing it and it's been reliable and smaller and quieter than the competition that's out there. And again, like you said, it was a European model, so it's going to be available for less than €200 when it is released. So pretty cool thing. Gavin, any thoughts?
I'm just thinking like it reminds me of the SwitchBot lock. You
Yeah.
know, if
Yeah.
SwitchBot just adds a little attachment, they can almost like do the same thing as this, turn a key instead of turning the bolt. You know,
Give them an idea. Give them an idea.
There you go, right there.
Yeah, and I don't know about every state, but I know in the state of Ohio, you can't you're not supposed to use these type of locks anymore. You're supposed to have, basically one motion to get out of a building.
Yeah.
So, if your house is on fire, you shouldn't have to find a key in order to unlock your door, in order to get out of the burning building. So I know in a lot of places this is not, not up to code, and you're not supposed to do this kind of lock. But I guess they have different locks in different parts of the world, so this is still a valid thing.
Yep, we had these on our house because we ended up buying our house that our grandmother had, and yeah, it was always a struggle to like, oh, I gotta get out, I need a key. I'm locked inside of my house. Like, I never understood it, and always thought it was a safety issue because you could never get out without rummaging around and finding somebody's key to unlock the door. So
yeah, I've only been one place in America where double-sided deadbolts are a thing, and that was New York City. And like every shop there basically has them. Just because I assume that they have to have at least one emergency exit or something, but that's the only place I've seen it.
Well, if you go into certain parts of certain buildings in Southeast Texas, I can tell you that my grandmother's installed them there. So
yeah,
that was our go-to lock. So, all right. Well, last bit of security news here. Ring's battery-powered video doorbells and security cameras are finally getting end-to-end encryption support. More than a year after E2E, that's not even end-to-end, made its way into the Ring wired cameras and doorbells. Support for end-to-end on Ring cameras means that only the person who owns the Ring camera and has their iOS or Android device enrolled will be able to access the video on there. So the recordings and everything. This is basically the most super secure way that you can operate a Ring camera. Locking it down even more than they're absurd. I'll email you a code and you can type that into our thing. 2-factor authentication for their doorbell cameras. But I guess they've had some security people knocking on them for a while and saying you can do better. And this certainly is better, but man, does it really not, it doesn't really work well. Gavin, you and I were talking before the show, like you basically have to disable all the features, and then you get like this feature, like
it's kind of dumb. Yeah, it's kind of dumb. You enable this feature. I understand why you're enabling it, but at that point you lose all the ability, like pretty much all the features that you bought the Ring camera for. You lose rich notifications. You lose the ability to preview videos on the timeline. Shared users, if you're sharing it with other accounts, right? They lose all the ability when it comes to videos. You can't use greetings or quick replies. The bird's eye view, which was a big feature on the newer cameras, that doesn't even work. What does work at that point is it just records video for you, like if that's all you want.
Yeah, and you needed to be super secure, like you're running a government facility with Ring cameras. Maybe it's a good thing.
I do have that government building in downtown Columbus with 30 Ring cameras. So
there you go.
Is this like a response for them, like supposedly giving access to videos to police officers or something? Like maybe they're like, oh, well, here's our compromise. If you don't want that to be a thing, like you can turn this on, but good luck. You can't use anything.
Maybe I feel that they had kind of some knee-jerk reactions to security in the past from after the like Amazon acquisition. People started really like looking at the product pretty hard and their API and all this stuff. So like they did a number of things even on the back end through the database to remove a bunch of like information and things like PII information is fine. That probably could be separate from the device information. But so that's personal identification information or something. Basically, addresses, names, phone numbers, that kind of stuff got removed from the APIs, which is okay, fine. As a developer, I don't need any of that. But the more like the other stuff like this, like the end to end, it seems like that was basically put in to basically appease security nerds to me. Like there's really no need for this. It doesn't make the product any better. It actually makes it worse. And like, if this is what you need, this is what you think you need, then you probably need a different something
right
else.
And that's kind of like what I would think too, right? Is like, if you're so worried about security where you're going to enable this feature, wouldn't you just roll your own cameras or something at that point? Like they even have Wi-Fi cameras you could get that work locally, and you could just record to like an NVR or something. So even if you're renting, there's like options for that as well. So these plays always, never make sense to me, just because it's like, who wants to actually use that is a Ring customer?
Right.
Well, at least if they have the option, they could say yes, we have the option. Even if nobody uses it, they can at least say it's there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's important to note, I guess it works pretty much now on all of their security cameras and doorbells except the Ring Video Doorbell Wired. For whatever reason, that one, maybe it's an older version or something like that, and couldn't get the processing or the keys or whatever they need to install on it to make it end to end. But that's okay. If you have that, you can't use this, which arguably makes the device a lot worse than it already is. So anyway, again, if you need end-to-end encryption, maybe Ring's not your thing. But I don't know. I'd be willing to say there's probably a few people out there, maybe you can count them on one hand, maybe two, who are really happy to see this feature, at least. Anyway, let's move on here. All the links and topics we discussed tonight can be found on our show notes over at HomeTech.fm/404. And I'm really going to have to make sure that URL works because I'm pretty sure that's going to get redirected somewhere else. But yeah, if it doesn't, we'll put something else on our show notes link. But if you go to HomeTech.fm, look at the top of the page. This show should be there for at least a week or two. All right, guys. Nothing in the mailbag this week, but we do have a really cool pick of the week. I think TJ, you posted this in here, and it was just a video from Ubiquity UI Innovations video about the Wi-Fi Man Wizards early access product. This is really cool.
They can't make access points, switches, or routers, but we can get this little Wi-Fi Man device.
It is really slick.
It is pretty sweet, though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big tooling person. So like if you give me something magical like Wi-Fi, right? Like it's not something you could see. It's like HDMI. Like the reason HDMI is not fun is because you can't test it, right? Like there's really like there are HDMI testers that do exist and they're expensive. But if you have one, then you can definitively say that the cable that was installed here does not work with this equipment. And here's why. This kind of is in that vein. Like if you're walking around with your phone and picking up like Wi-Fi signals, it's almost just not enough. And Apple has restricted their APIs to the their Wi-Fi chips over time. So I guess this is kind of Ubiquity's answer to getting around that and giving you a decent like little spectral analyzer, reports inside of the Wi-Fi Man app that you would otherwise not be able to get using an iPhone or I guess Android or smartphone of anything. Like it's just a dedicated device to basically do all sorts of stuff to get better insights into what's going on in the Wi-Fi network. And again, it's invisible. This is stuff that's just bits and radio waves floating through the air. If you don't have the tools to measure it, then it's almost impossible to troubleshoot why this device over here gets, with the new Wi-Fi stuff, gets 50 megabits download. There's some interference somewhere. You have no idea what it is. But with something like this, you can at least have a fighting chance of figuring out what's going on.
Yeah, pretty sweet too. You can attach it to the back of your phone. It's got the MagSafe connector on there, so you can just walk around with it. You pair it up with a pocket Ethernet. I mean, your phone would be your computer at this point. You can do a full network test with everything. You can test the Wi-Fi, make sure you're getting good signal everywhere, and then you can turn around and test some hardwire connections. So pretty soon your phone will just replace the whole computer.
Yeah,
I feel like
if it hasn't already.
Talking about this for like 20 years, but we're almost there.
So close, so close. This is pretty cool. Are you gonna grab one of these things when it comes out?
I'll probably try to grab one. It's $100. I don't see what could go wrong. It'll probably be more expensive once it fully releases, I bet. They've been doing that on a couple of products, so I would imagine the price go up, $30 or $40. So I'll pick one up in early access.
Still isn't a bad price if you think about it. Yeah.
Maybe I'll grab you one if I think about it, Seth.
Yeah, send it up to Gavin. He's got the I get a suntan, and I have like an R650 ruckus thing right on the ceiling above me. So like I'm pretty sure that I'm just getting like radiation on me at this point. Like the Wi-Fi signal in here is very strong. See what Gavin's rack you can do like before and after. Like before you take down the what is the UDM and go with the UDM Pro, like you can do before and after.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, you guys are already talking me into that now. Like,
well, and something you didn't think about with the UDM Pro is that you have to buy an access point because it doesn't have Wi-Fi built in. So,
can you use the UDM?
No. So, no, because you can't have two controllers at the same site, and both of them have built-in controllers. So,
we'll figure that out.
You would be able to add them, but you wouldn't be able to add it to the same system.
Access points aren't too expensive, so that's okay.
Then I'll send you one at the same time.
That's one thing that's good about Ubiquiti is that the products are not that expensive. I mean, even for $130, like just to get something like this is actually a steal compared to some of the other stuff that exists out there. Like I know of products
when you compared to like mesh products too, like Eero, you can spend $700 or $800 on an Eero system. And you can buy a really nice, for 3 of them, and you can buy a pretty nice Ubiquiti system for that price. So,
yep. I'm trying to think of here's the Ekahau Sidekick 2, $4,000. Like basically this, probably a little bit more performance of a device, but if you want to have like all the AI Pro software and everything that goes along with like heat mapping a house out, pretty much essentially doing what Ubiquiti is kind of doing with this. That's a $10,000 price point, like $9,990. I'll put a link to this in the show notes. It's an expensive system, but this is what exists out there. And when they come in at $100 or $130, who cares? Like every technician in the company will have one of these, rather than the one network engineer, that can have access to an actual Wi-Fi spectral and analyzer thing, that you can do site surveys with. So, yeah, good on Ubiquiti. I like it. Good pick.
Insta buy.
All right, that wraps up another week here, guys. I do want to I guess, Gavin, we've been talking like back and forth before the show was going off or going on the air, and actually after hours too, like of the TV shows we've been watching. We need to mention them now because there's some good stuff that's going on. But you found, and I think you took one for the team. You found this Margot movie that is about a killer smart home. Tell us about what you saw here.
I don't know how I came across this, but once the title said Killer Smart Home, I was sold. I was like, I have to watch it. I didn't even look at the trailer. I just instantly watched it. I took one for the team. I'm going to save you guys from having to go watch this yourself.
Thank goodness.
I
wasn't going to watch it anyway, but I'm glad you did it for us.
Yeah, it was going along all right. And then it just started getting ridiculous, especially when it got into the fight scene. I was just like, all right, this is just dumb. But
the premise is a group of college friends rent a smart house for the weekend of partying. I mean, this is where all the horror movies start, right? Later, they start to realize that Margot, the house super advanced AI system, has a sinister designs for them. So There you
Yeah.
go. There you go. So not very good. It's got a 4.3 out of 10 rating on IMDb. Do you mean that's not a good rating?
No, not it was a bad movie. And the smart home, like the smart home you think of today, it's more futuristic. But yeah, I don't even know why the smart home wanted to kill them at that point. It was just out to get them, and it used everything that now I look at massage chair differently. You know, that's in my massage chair anymore, like every smart device, I'm looking at it a little differently, going, how could that kill me? Like
You better never get a robot lawnmower.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
and or if I'll be indoors when it goes, when it does its thing. I'll never go buy it. I took
pretty
one
good.
for the team though, so you guys don't have to watch it. It's a killer smart, unless you really want to know how a smart home will kill you. Like they go watch. Well,
TJ's saying no. I might watch it. We're in the middle of watching like bad horror movies this month. I mean, it's that time of year. Like
yeah,
you pretty much we've watched some like Night Teeth or something like that. I don't remember. It's like some Netflix originals that are adjacent to the horror movie era. I don't know. We're just basically, I think they're just like, how can we design our squibs to splatter the most amount of blood on
Yes.
somebody? Yeah, that's what I've seen so far.
Remember back in the days, it was like the killer car. What was that movie?
Christine. Yeah, we
yeah,
talked about it. Yeah.
you watched it and you're like, how could a car be a killer car? And it was a killer car. The same kind of thing is, how could a smart home be a killer smart home? You'll find out. It's not like she's just turning up the temperature on you. No.
Boil you alive inside the smart sauna.
Oh, there's a little bit more of the explosion scene, and you know what? You might want to go watch it.
I might have to now.
Serious
TJ's
killer.
still like, nope, not doing it.
Yeah, I'll put it on the back burner. If it's ever the end of the world and I'm looking for something to watch, maybe that.
Yeah.
Well, we do have some pretty good shows that are out there besides this. I've caught up on. I've caught up on because C, which is on Apple TV, it's the final season.
Yes.
It's got Aquaman in it, so it's good. It's not actually, it's the same guy, Jason Momoa, but like it's a good movie, show type thing. It has an interesting world. It's basically like if blind people did Game of Thrones, then that's the best description, right? Everybody's blind except there are some people that can see, and shenanigans happen. But yeah, it's one of those post-apocalyptic things, and I couldn't recommend that one more. And then there's a documentary thing, Light and Magic. I think we talked about it off the air. If you haven't seen that and you like movies in any way, shape, or form, go check out Light and Magic. It is absolutely amazing, and so well done. It's a great documentary. It keeps you on the edge of your seat after the end of each episode, and you want to watch the next episode. I think Lawrence Krasden put it together. So the writer of basically Indiana Jones. So it's got some pedigree to it, and they basically have like interviews from literally everyone that in existence going, Steven Spielberg, everybody shows up on this thing. So it's amazing to see the technology and things that they were doing to get Star Wars up and going. And then Lucas is like, no, I think computers can do this. And they're like, but computers are just things that have blinky lights. Like, how do we? And they're like, well, let's just find people that can do it. And he had this amazing ability to say to people, like, just think about it. And then the people that he hired would go home and think about it and then come back with like brilliant ideas, and you get ILM out of it. So check that out if you like movies, special effects, or anything like that. It is amazing. And I can't recommend that one anymore. That's probably one of the best things we watched in a while here. So
another one I've been watching is called Yellow Jackets. I saw this on the Emmy nominated list, so I just thought I'd give it a shot. Really good, dark. Like it's about a high school soccer team. They crash in the Canadian wilderness, and they're there for like 18 months, and the stuff they go through. They show them now, and they showed them back then. So it's jumping in time, but it's really messed up. Worth a watch.
Man. It's a TV series. It's not just a movie. So there's a lot of them. Oh wow.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good.
I don't know, man. All right. that one. I'm looking at some of the pictures from this and like, okay, all right.
Well, there's a birth. Like was it in House of Dragon when we were talking about the birth scene in there?
Yeah.
Well, there's a birth scene in this one too that was kind of like messed up too. So it's worth a watch.
I'm gonna keep going there.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Add it to the list.
added to the list. Yeah, I've got a bunch of them here. See Yellow Jackets, Light Magic, House of Dragon, Lord of the Rings. Of course, everybody's talking about House of the Dragon and Lord of the Rings. What is it called? The Rings of Power, something like that. The
It's
prequels,
been
basically.
really good. It's been really good.
Yeah. If you're in the world of the Silmarillion, it is definitely a place to enjoy what they put together. And the special effects in there have been, I mean, I just can't believe I was watching a TV show, like it is movie level quality special effects, as you would expect from a Lord of the Rings franchise. Like it's done well. So definitely check those out. Hey, I forgot all the script in here for the other stuff, so I can't go through it. That's going to be fun.
Just wing it.
Yeah, just
Nobody listens anymore anyway. To the end part.
Exactly. They've already skipped. They've already skipped at this point. Let me see if I can find that because I've got it laying around somewhere. This is why I shouldn't have rebooted because all this was on the screen.
That's why we can't have nice things.
Exactly.
Gonna make Gavin host it from now on.
Good.
It's probably safer.
I'm willing to switch out if you guys are. Oh, why did it do this? I should know it after like 5 or 6 years of saying the same thing over and over again.
See, good thing you can edit this in post.
I know. That's the beauty of it.
Don't even know.
No one will ever know. Just don't tell them.
Just don't forget to edit it.
Yeah, well, I can just leave it in. This is what people tune in for. What are you talking about?
Absolutely.
All right. Uploads. And then we have... Oh, well, I finally decided to unlock over here. So there we go.
Bam.
Yeah. All right.
You
Well,
remember where you left off?
Yeah, somewhere in here.
All right.
We want to give a big thank you to everyone who supports the show, but especially those who are able to financially support the show through our Patreon page. If you don't know about the Patreon page, head on over to HomeTech.fm/support to learn how you can support HomeTech for as little as $1 a month. Any pledge over $5 a month gets you a big shout out on the show, but every single pledge gets you an invite to our private Slack chat, The Hub, where you and everyone else can gather around and talk about the new Lutron devices. And it looks like TJ just posted a picture of a new robot vacuum cleaner that will actually clean everything in a 20-meter radius. That is not that's a mine. That's a mine.
Oh, my bad.
It's a landmine.
Oops.
That's too funny. Yeah, good stuff. All right, well, check that out. If you want to help out the show but can't support financially, totally understand. Just appreciate a 5-star review on iTunes or a positive rating in the podcast app of your choice. That wraps up another week of Home Tech here. Everyone, that wraps up another week in Home Tech from everyone here. Have a great weekend.
Take care.
See you next time.
You did that so well last time. I was like, TJ is really fallen into his element, and then
just cut and paste it.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. Just every week, the same thing.
Yeah, I don't know why you haven't already.
We'll make a montage.
Just part of the music at the end. All right. Cool, guys.
Oh, man.
Hey, I actually recorded it. That's good.
Hey, look at you.
Oh, good job.
Just get to edit. Just get to edit. Back to square one. I thought I was going to find a faster way of editing things, but then it just didn't happen. So I was like, maybe I'm just slow because I'm stubborn and can't do new things, and then because I'm old or something. And I was like, just try it on the iPad. I was editing on the iPad, and there's things that I like about it, like using a pen to edit, but it's just slower. Like
sometimes I watch them do things on like Apple devices. So I'm like, how can you like? Like, no wonder it takes you so long.
Yeah.
Save
It's got a lot of like shortcuts in it, but the thing is that I can edit the show at almost 2x speed, like how you would possibly listen to it on a podcast player in my traditional editing methods. And an hour-long show takes about an hour to edit, but doing it the other way, an hour-long show would take 3 hours to edit. So for the past couple of weeks, it's been like 3 hours of editing, and like it's just a slog. I will go back to doing it all on a computer like
I'm
a normal
not
person.
jealous.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for everybody for not. Who's tuning in? Is there any? There was somebody earlier.
There was
but I
one
think they
person
turned-
earlier.
Yeah. Well, I think they gave up on us, but
That's
thanks to
nice.
everybody who is turning in or watches this later. Appreciate it. We've been in the broadcast now. So bye.
Bye.
Bye.